Hey Packers, this is the video on how to document your U-bots. What I used to do was to create alerts to kind of pop up, and see where things are at, but it kind of got a little cluttered up. So what I do now is I create this thing called a verify input, so you know what's coming in and what's going out. So I always put this, and this is in your utility. It should be in there. Basically, just copy the define there and just set that started, so you know when it entered that subroutine or define, and then when it exited. Now I put it right before the return because as soon as it hits the return, it kicks out and it never reads what's below the return. So it needs to be before the return. Okay, and then on top of that, I make sure that all the variables that come in are red. So because this is so long, it makes sense to get a little notepad. This is Note++, and kind of split the screen here so it makes it easier to kind of see. And let's open up a new thing here. Okay, that way you can copy and paste all the inputs you have. Let's see. Sometimes I do grab these. I think I'll go ahead and just grab everything, just to make sure things are coming in accordingly. So let me just go ahead and grab that. And then if something goes wrong, you can trace it back and know where it went wrong. Just grab up this. Okay. And I'm just gonna copy and paste all of everything. Okay. And the only thing is that since all these variables are local variables, you can't really see or debug it. Okay, and then when it passes from function to function, you can then trace and see where things go missing, and then you can then back up where it left off, and you know which subroutine isn't getting what it needs, and then track it down. Parameter variables is this, and it'll be that depending on what the input output is, and variables. Huh, okay. Variables and values. Okay. So once I have all this, that way I'm not like scrolling up and down when I create this verify input deal. So I just kind of bring this utility in. And this is one that we created in the utility tab. It's a custom thing that I created, so you can use that. Paste that in. And not to mention you forgot to grab the title of that so we know where it's related to. So instead of having to go back and copy each and every one of these variables, scroll up and down, to do that it's easier to just kind of paste it here, so you kind of grab everything you need, kind of thing. I should have done that in the beginning for the title. And then you can just go ahead and copy paste what you need from Notepad instead of having to scroll up and down. Alright, so once you get this done, copy paste that back to the values. Now the variable names is fine, but the value, the actual output, you need to put in a code format. So all the lists can only be displayed as a list across. So you want to comment delimited that, so you put it as a text from list. And if you don't do that, it's just gonna be a long list, and it'll kind of like push all this down, and it won't be related because then whatever's in that list will kind of be displayed for all these variables, and it just won't match up. So you have to make this display across and align. So we're gonna turn this list into a text, and grab that, cut that, and paste it. I think I pressed the copy on accident, so I'm not gonna show it now. Paste, okay. And then anything that has a hash, which is just a variable, not a list, we're gonna put these curly brackets on so that it'll show as the value. So let me go ahead and do that first, these guys, and then I'll go back and fix that one list and make it into a text. And let me fix that back here real quick. There we go. And boop, boop, boop. this, I'm going to drag another text from list. Okay. And make a connect. The connector I use is this bar line. I think it helps it stand out a little better, makes it pop. Easier to see. And boom. So without the curly brackets, it'll come out as text, as you see up here. But once you click it and it's all good, it becomes variables. So the ones these will have curly brackets, they show as is. Okay. So once we save that, and then I go ahead and load this this file here. I believe this is a different one. Let me load up the proper history here. Yeah, this is the one, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Let me load up the file that I'm using. And I save into this history timestamp. You get to set that directory. So I clear this, save it. So once I run a little sample, you'll be able to see where things are at. Alright, so let me show you an example of this. So when you run things, you can see a history of everything that happens. And you can leave that on there so you can kind of track the history of what's going on, how it passes from subroutine to subroutine, and what subroutine is missing something and not working. So I'll paste that, and then this kind of helps me set up the example, so all I really need to do is replace this guy. So let me go ahead and clone a bot real quick. And clone it. Alright, and then get its ID number here. It helps when you have this guy open, you can just grab its bot ID. So I kind of work in conjunction with this so that I don't have to like look at it in code. I can just see it right there, copy it, and replace what I need. So the first bot this parameter is first one is a bot GUID. So put some dummy variables in there, and then I should be able to change and see what's going on. And once I run it, boom. And I can see the history that of all the variables that just popped up. I know that field number is 0 because this project changes cell. It doesn't have a field number, and everything should be right. Now, if you're debugging it and you notice that this is supposed to be there and it's not there, then you can then backtrack it and see why isn't it there, and what do you need to do to fix it. Okay, so everything looks good. I did notice something here, yeah, that's supposed to be missing, so it's showing missing there. Everything checks out, and the first input is bot GUID, so it looks good. And that's how you would track, make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Okay, so make sure this is all there, and then I can tell that also that it entered the function tuning, it started, and then it finished it, showed me the inputs, and it ended, so I know when it started, when it ended. And those are all helpful when you transition between subroutine to another subroutine. Alright, thanks for watching, and make sure we keep that standard. Thanks.